Changing direction isn't failing, it's focusing. We're about to set someone free this morning. I'll say it again. Changing direction isn't failing, is focusing. Welcome to MINDSHiFT Monday, the place where we stop letting our mindset hold us hostage and start using it to set us free. Yeah, I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. And today we are talking about permission to pivot. Giving yourself permission to pivot. Listen, y'all, hang with us after the show. Join the conversation live on Zoom after the broadcast. Head on over to mindshiftmonday.com/Zoom to connect with us and chat with a lot of other business owners who are looking to make their lives and their weeks great. Yeah, you want to know when we're live? Text live to 240-557-8679 so that you can know and get the notifications when we're going live. And then we are going to be doing it again in the month of September. Hey, y'all, we're going to be rocking and rolling with the Amplify Your Voice with Video 3-Day Challenge. So join us in September. Head on over to amplifyvoiceandvideo.com. Yes, so glad to see y'all. CM Blackman, good to see you. C. Marie B, good to see you. Russ Terry, oh my gosh, it's been years. So good to see you, brother, on Instagram. Leader Hutton, so good to see you. Keshi Njoroji, I'm saying that totally wrong. So good to see you. All right. Rupti Foods, so glad that you are in the space and in the place. Yes. Hey, y'all, listen, we're going to jump on into this show. Remember, you're not behind. You're just realigning. Come on, let's do this thing. Yeah, come on. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? TL Speaks, so glad that you're here. Eugene Taylor Brand, Letitia, so glad that you're here. So good to see you all this morning. Yeah, we got some people. We got some people in the space, in the place. I'm so glad that y'all are joining us on the MINDSHiFT Monday. Let's go. All right, y'all. Listen, I'm so glad that y'all are here. Let's be real and let's jump in to our show this morning. Wow. How many of you have had a pivot? How many of you have ever had a pivot? Go ahead and type me in the chat if you've ever had a pivot. And here's the deal. Sometimes pivots are purposeful and sometimes pivots are forced. Listen, let's be real. Life isn't a straight road, right? It's a winding path with exits that you didn't plan for. And the question that I want to ask this morning, hey, Twyla Grigsby, so good to see you. Coach George Rice, so good to see you this morning. Oh, yeah. The question that I want to ask is, do you beat yourself up for taking a new road, or do you own your pivot? What do you do? What do you do? Listen, the truth is that we all walk through this stuff, right? If you listen to Instagram, right? Instagram, according to Instagram, your plan is if you do this thing, if you do this one thing, if you change this one thing in your life, if you invest in yourself, or if you do show up online with consistency, you will have a straight path to success. But if you look below that, here's what reality is. Yep. Sometimes ups. Okay. Down in the valley with the rocks. Okay. Up again. Yeah, we made it. Okay. My gosh. We're down in the water. Okay. Yeah, we made. Oh my gosh. There's a storm happening. Right? Life, we have this expectation of it being straight, of it being easy. But the truth is, it's messy, y'all. It's messy. It's messy and it's not easy, and It's challenging, and the biggest thing that helps you make it through this is that 6-inch or 8-inch spot between your ears is your mind. It's your mental health. It's your mindset. And that's why we do this show every Monday, to help you get in that space where you are able to take on the challenges, to see the detours, to see the pivots, to see the crazy moments, to see the unexpected times, and still push through it, because you were called to something greater. You were made more amazing. I want y'all to say this. Say, I'm amazing. Say, I am awesome. Say, I have a special gift and a special purpose for why I'm here. Come on. Yeah. Open your mouth and say it to yourself. Say it to yourself. Hey, Patrick Allman, so good to see you, my friend. So glad that you're here. Listen, if each of us were to give in to the pivots in our lives, and then we never get anywhere. I got to tell you. And here's the thing. Some of us, I'm not even going to say all of us, I'm not going to say most of us. Some of us stay in a certain space because we are afraid of the pivot for one reason or another. We're afraid of being called out. We're afraid of being called wishy-washy. We're afraid of being of having to start. There's so many different reasons. So let me walk through some stuff this morning. I don't know if you know this guy. I don't know if you know RK3. Let me share with you a little bit about my journey. So out of college, I was working in the mental health space. High turnover, high demand, low pay industry. Started out as a counselor and instructor, and then I got moved up to supervisor, and then finally director in the space of about 3 years. And I was doing okay. It was high stress, high demand job, a lot of different things going on. But then one day I got called into the office. I got called into the office. They were like, Robert, we got to have this meeting. And in that meeting, I was given a choice. I was given a choice to resign or be put on probation for X amount of months. Pivot. Pivot. Listen, I got called into, I got a job at a radio station where I was working with the anchor of the station, the news anchor of the station. And one day the anchor said to me, hey, Robert, listen, I got another job in another state, and I'm going to put your name in as to become the full-time anchor. So I got a call from the owner of the radio station. And he said, hey, Robert, it was recommended to me that you could be the full-time anchor for this station. And you could do this. You got to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, be in and get all the stuff together so that you can be ready for the 5 a.m. broadcast. And you'd be here about 6 or 7 hours. And oh, by the way, they pay $6 an hour. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Oh my gosh, I can't survive on that. My mind wasn't thinking about all the different things or the opportunity itself. So I turned it down. Ooh, pivot. Then I got a teaching job. I was teaching high school for a little while. And then after I left high school, I started being a faculty for an online university. I was doing that for about 2 years. And then one day I got a call. He said, hey, can you hop on with the dean of the department? And the dean of the department was there in the meeting with an HR person. So now you know when the HR person is in that meeting, it is never, ever a good meeting. Pivot. So after that, I started a company, and it went well for 4 years until it didn't. Pivot. So I then go back to working full time with a corporation we're building online courses for government orgs and private companies, and it's going well until I get a call to meet with the CEO. We all get a call to meet with the CEO. Why do I keep getting these calls? And then I'm going to these calls, and we get a call to meet with the CEO, and she says to us, yeah, the RFP, the contract with government was not renewed. Pivot. Listen, my life has had so many pivots. And here's what happens. What's going on, Danny Lewis? So good to see you this morning. Coach AD, so glad that you're here. Dr. Lorenda, so glad that you're here. My life has had so many pivots. And here's what some of us do. When we have pivots in our lives, or when a pivot is presented to us, we punish ourselves for the pivot. We make ourselves feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being forced to take this direction because I failed, or because I stink, or because I'm no good, or I'm not enough. And we start to put poor guilt on ourselves because we need to pivot. Here's the worst part. Some people know they need to pivot, but they don't. And because they know they need to pivot and they don't, they end up in a space of frustration and tension. How many of you have been in a space where you know that you need to do something different? You know that you need to be in a different job. You know that you need to be at a different church. You know that you need to be in a different geographical location. And because you're not willing to pivot, because you're not willing to take action, because you're not willing to move, because you keep saying to yourself, oh my gosh, it's going to get better right here in the same place, in the same position there that I'm at. And the inside of you is just like twisting and you being eaten up on the inside because you know you are out of alignment. Because you know that you are not in the space that you need to be. You know that you are not in the in cooperation with your calling. You know that you need to pivot. Some people need to pivot and some people are pushed to pivot. Listen, and here's the deal. Here is the deal. Erica Jones, what is going on? Join us on the after show, Erica. Listen, let me put this on screen really quickly. I hope that you all will be joining us for not just to watch, but to get on the Zoom with us for the MINDSHiFT Monday Level Up at 8 o'clock. Join us, mindshiftmonday.com/Zoom. So glad that you all are here. Here's the deal. Pivots can be connected to frustration or forward movement. Yeah. Pivots can be connected to frustration or forward movement. I'll say that another way. A pivot isn't punishment, it's positioning. Man, there's sometimes where you are in a space, and if you are a spiritual person, if you are a faith believer, if you are somebody who believes that there is power over your life, and there is a spirit that continually pokes you in the direction or prods you in the direction that you need to go, right? And we keep ignoring that download. We keep ignoring that prompting, right? That and because of that, we end up in spaces of frustration and tension. But listen, when you have to pivot, a pivot isn't punishment. It's positioning you to the space and the place that you're meant to be. And we resist and we push back against pivots. People resist pivoting because we think it means starting over. Oh my gosh, people resist pivoting because they fear judgment. Somebody's going to look at you and say, oh my gosh, you have to go right because you failed at the position that you were in. And we protect ourselves or we shield ourselves from criticism in spite of the fact that redirection or that pivot may lead us to our position. Here's another reason why people resist pivoting. They tie, let me say we tie our identity to the original path. We tie our identity to the original path. Man, you go to school, and in school you become a biology major, and after that you go to college or to med school, and you become a doctor. And 5 years in, you are miserable at being a doctor, but you've tied your identity to being a doctor. You've tied your identity to being a lawyer. You've tied your identity to being a social worker. You've tied your identity to being a teacher, to being a pastor, you've tied your identity to a title and not the outcome that you truly want. So if you will release yourself from a title, if you will release yourself from an identity, if you will release yourself from a college degree, then you can ultimately end up at your calling. How many of us are holding on to something? How many of us are holding on to something, and if you will only let go of it, it'll allow you to get to the space where you want. You've heard the story of the Bushmen who are looking for water. Dave Chappelle tells this story. You've heard the story of the Bushmen that are looking for water. Here's how they find water. They create these holes in the ground, and they're not that big. They're big enough to fit a hand in, and they put little salt. They put some salt in those holes. And what happens is these baboons come over and they stick their hands into the hole, and they grab the salt because they love salt, and they put their hands around it, but then they can't pull their hands back out because they won't let go of the salt. And so what they do is they get caught, and the Bushmen put the baboons in the cage, and they give them as much salt as they can handle. And what happens when you have salt a lot, you begin to get thirsty. And so after they have so much salt that they become thirsty, the baboons are known for finding water really quickly and easily. And so they get pushed, they let them out of the cage, and they go find the water, and the Bushmen just follow them, and they find where the water is. Right? But here's what happens. I mean, that's a good story, but some of us are still stuck with our hands in the hole because we won't let go of what's inside of it. Right? Somebody said teach. Somebody's like preach. Yeah, well, listen, let me preach this morning. I've said this to some of my friends and my family. Let's go with faith. Let's go preacher. I say to people, listen, God will fully bless you when you let go of what he's already freed you from. Yeah. Listen, the place where we are does not finally form our identity or the place where we must end up. As a matter of fact, let's go to some brands. I wish I had some logos on screen this morning. How many of you have ever heard of a little company called Netflix? Yeah. Netflix, as most of you know, is one of the major streaming brands, right? Netflix is a major streaming. Netflix is paying actors millions of dollars to do shows on its platform. Netflix started out as a DVD mail service. They would mail DVD movies to people's houses. Let's go further. Let's get some more. Marriott hotels. Go ahead and type yes if you've ever heard of or stayed at a Marriott hotel, right? Guess what Marriott Hotel started out as? Marriott Hotel started out as a root beer stand. Let's get some more in. Taco Bell. Okay, maybe that's not your favorite spot or your favorite space. Taco Bell started out as a hot dog stand. Yeah. Nintendo. How many of you have ever heard of Nintendo? Maybe you've had a Wii in your house. Maybe you have a Switch in your house. Maybe you had the original with Duck Hunt. Pew, 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 right? Nintendo started out as a company that made playing cards. Pivot. Samsung. Oh my gosh, Samsung, one of the best TV makers. Samsung, one of the best companies. They make a lot of great phones. Their cameras are amazing. They do a lot of computer monitors. They're in the electronics. Samsung, check this one out. Y'all are not even going to believe this one. Y'all are not even going to believe this one. Samsung originally exported noodles and dry fish. Pivot. Oh, here's one. I bet y'all didn't know this one. American Express. Yes, American Express. That American Express, the credit card company. American Express was originally a parcel delivery service that competed with the United States Postal Service. Ah, that name makes sense to you now, huh? I'll say it one more time. American Express was originally a parcel delivery service that was in competition with the United States Postal Service. Pivot. Sometimes you are in a space in your spirit and everything is telling you that it's time to go in another direction, and you don't want to go that direction because you don't want to feel like a quitter. Listen, it's not quitting, it's recalibrating. Changing direction does not erase progress. It recalibrates it. Right? We're running out of time, y'all. We're running out of time. I'm hoping that y'all are getting this. So as we're talking about pivoting, as you're talking about resisting pivoting, as we do every week, we want to share 3 things that you can do in order to pivot and make progress without the guilt. Well, number 1, I want you to do this. I want you to release the guilt. I want you to release the guilt of pivoting. I want you to release the thoughts that you're going to be criticized, or that you're going to start over, or that you're going to fail, or that you're going to be behind. And here's how you do this. I want you to write down one area where you feel behind and reframe it as I'm in transition. Write down one area where you feel behind and reframe it as I'm in transition. Write it down. There's power in the pen. Oh yeah, Marv Ricky said rerouting. I love it. Right? Write down one area where you feel behind and reframe it as rerouting or in transition. Here's the next step. Here's the next thing that I want you to do. I want you to define a new target. So you've got an area where you're feeling behind. And I want you to define a new target. Okay, what's the new space that you need to get to? What is the calling? What are you feeling inside? Because here's what happens. Clarity kills confusion. Get specific about where you are headed now. And if you are uncertain, choose. Choose. Because guess what? This is how life works. If you are starting down a certain path and it's not where you should be, life has a way of rerouting you, detouring you, or getting you to where you need to be if you will listen. If you will listen. So here's the deal. 3rd step. Take the first step. I want you to identify one small action that moves you in the new direction today. I want you to identify one small action that moves you in a new direction today. Here's how I like to say this. I want you to think about how you can turn your day from reaction into creation. Same letters, we flip-flop the C, right? How can you turn your day from reaction into creation? How can you turn your day from just a day where you move accidentally into a day where you move intentionally? And listen, if you move accidentally, or if you happen to bump into failure, or you bump into an obstacle, I want you to stop beating yourself up and start building yourself up. Here's how you do that. You get around other people who are having experiences, who are living human lives and are driven and are ready to move forward. And you talk about it and you share about it and you get vulnerable, and then you get built up. You allow people to build you up. You borrow belief in yourself from other people until your belief catches up. Right? And so that is one of the reasons why we have this Monday mindset, or this MINDSHiFT Monday level up. That's why we get together after the show, after Robert speaks, so you can share some of your thoughts, your successes, your progress, your failures, your discouragements, and we can build each other up. That's why we have this. Listen, the path you started on was for who you were. But sometimes you get rerouted because the path you're choosing now is for who you're becoming. There's a book called Pivot. The Only Move That Matters Is Your Next One, by Jenny Blake. And Jenny Blake says in this book, what you can plan is too small for you to live. What you can plan, what your mind thinks you can do, is too small for you to live. So what life are you building? What life are y'all building? What are you doing today? Are you focused and yet flexible enough for a pivot? Yeah, listen, don't forget to share and join the show, y'all. Do me a favor. Text live to 240-557-8679 to go to know when we're going live. Next, don't forget to share the show. Join me next week, Monday, for MINDSHiFT Monday. Until we meet again, my friends, do me a favor. Pivot boldly, realign intentionally, and keep shifting your mindset so that you can shift your movement. Oh, yeah. Or as I always say, hey, change your thoughts, change your world. Change your story. MINDSHiFT Monday. Y'all join me for the level up. Go to MINDSHiftMonday.com/Zoom right now. I'll be hopping over there. And we'll see y'all. Make it good. Peace.